Alright, welcome back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that little cinematic edit on the E30. As you can see, I'm finally back on this car. It's been quite a while. It's been in the shop here in the third bay just for the longest time, just waiting for me to put some time and effort into it. So I'm going to give you guys a little update and I'm going to talk about options. I keep flip-flopping on this car, but that's because it's in the state that it's in. It's been hard to stay motivated on something as ambitious as this project because it is entirely a shell. So hopefully you can piece together what I am prepping to do here in the engine bay, but I'm gonna go over it. We'll talk about it briefly, but yeah. All right, so it doesn't look like much, but it has come quite a ways as in terms of teardown. And yeah, there's a lot in this engine bay that is no longer here, which is great. Only thing I need to worry about next is dropping this front subframe because we have an entire restoration plan for this, but that's one of those things where when I drop it, I would like to kind of get everything done at once. So that's still in the car, power steering still in the car, but it's just lines at this point, and then this rack is getting swapped out. I just got the brake master cylinder and booster out. I got the pedal box out. This battery tray, I was gonna cut out today, but I'm gonna wait until I have all this stuff out of the way, just to avoid a potential fire hazard. So we'll pause on that and we'll get to that. It'll look really sweet once that's all cut out. Start getting the vision. Next thing I need to do really is pull all this stuff back and see if we have any rot. There's been a few spots. There was rot right here and you can see I even cut through. That was on accident, not gonna lie, but yeah, this bracketry here is kind of difficult to get flush with the rest of the engine bay. So this I will probably cut an entire patch panel for anyways because we don't need this hole. So this can be cut out. You can see we got no more stickers. It's kind of funny. Stickers, really good quality. BMW really put some money into those because they held up after all this time. As far as the firewall, I'm not 100% sure on what's going and what's staying. I know that I'm not putting AC in this car just for how I want the car to look visually. AC is just not in the cards, so we're done with that. Not going to do that, which leaves us a lot of options to use that space for something else. So yeah, I need to strip all this off. If you guys have ideas on what I should be using instead as a replacement, obviously I'm not going to buy, I'm not going to reuse this stuff, and I'm not going to buy OEM stuff. I don't even think that it's available, but we'll go with something that's presentable, something that's very heat resistant, and yeah, that will probably be in the next video where we strip all that apart. I'm sure if you've seen the last videos, you've seen this mess that I created for myself. I'll be the first to admit it was a little ambitious, but you know, what are you gonna do? This is the core support cutoff that I did. So I'm gonna extend these wires with some older wires from different harnesses, the E36s and stuff. And hopefully that extension will end up right here in the frame rail. So there is a hole that we can use and run the harness here. Gonna put a hole somewhere around here, and I'm gonna do the bulkhead. So we'll kind of just do a bulkhead connector. That way it'll really clean it up and make it detachable from here. So that way when we cut the core support and do the removable core support, it would not be that difficult to actually pull the entire harness out. As far as like the ground for that harness, because there is a ground that it needs, and I did cut those out. We'll just put it on the back side or something like that, but that's a ways away. I'm not planning on wiring the car up anytime soon, but the bay shave is first and foremost. At this point, it's what I'm motivated to do most. I think it's something that I can tackle just with, you know, my hands and my limited tools here. But I picked up this die grinder, 90-degree die grinder. Did a really good job today. It's gone through a couple wheels, but that's just because I've been kind of aggressive. My compressor can't really keep up, but this thing's doing good. Definitely, I would say a must-have if you're gonna start cutting brackets out and stuff. If you have a cordless one, like I have Milwaukee Dremel and stuff, it's good, but if you want to kind of make quick work of some of this stuff, that's almost necessary. So, like I said, probably going to cut out something here, make a patch panel of sorts, and I don't really necessarily want to, but in order to make the other side even, we probably need to do it here as well. If anyone has first-hand experience at a body shop doing custom work, or just some of this more tedious stuff like, you know, cutting out patch panels or using filler in the engine bay, anything like that, if you have pointers, tips, whatever, advice, I'm all ears. So you can DM me on Instagram or drop a comment down below. It's my first time with this kind of thing. Like I said, it's just something I really want to do. So this is, you know, what I've decided to take upon myself as a project. And I work on it when I can afford to, when I have the time, etc. It's just going to be here for a while. I have no intention on this car running for a very long time. It's probably going to be a while. But that does lead me to talk about engine options, because I have a consistent inventory of stuff that rotates, comes through my shop, that I end up selling because I have yet to make my mind up. And so if I make my mind up on something, I can finally start grabbing parts and keeping them. And that way, you know, an engine swap would happen a lot faster than me saying the car will never run. Before I know it, I'll have a majority of the stuff, at least the swap parts, that I'll need for the car. So I have not one, not two, but 3 M5X engines. So like 2 M50s and 1 M52, all with, you know, good parts that could be Frankenstein together to make one cool turbo build, I guess. So that is an option, and that's a pretty well documented swap, at least to get one of these engines in that car. So I'm leaning towards that, and I've been leaning towards that for a while now. And because it is what I part out the most, I always have rotating inventory of E36s coming through my shop. The other thing that I have been considering, which I have not done enough research to really even speak on this, but I don't know how much more complicated it would be. M54 B30, so out of like a E46 or E39, whatever. The car I have in my yard right now, that's, you know, in queue to be inventoried after I get this one done, is an E39 530i factory manual car. So I'd have the harness and all the manual parts I would need. Transmission, I believe is the same transmission from an E36. I'd have to fact check myself on that. But I have a couple ZFs laying around. I have the M54B30. I know it runs, doesn't overheat, or maybe it does, I can't remember. But anyways, benefits to the M54B30 will be that it is more power out of the box. You don't even have to boost the car really per se, given how light this car is, the E30 that is. Boosting the car is not really even something I would consider until a long time from now. So that's kind of the appeal of that. It's kind of one less step if I wanted to actually get the car running, just slap a M54B30 in it and be done. But I know it's not that simple, because also I want this car to still be OEM plus in the sense that there's not a bunch of weird, you know, bugs and quirks with the swap itself. I want the engine swap to be pretty seamless and, you know, almost seem like it was just meant to be in the car, which I think is everyone's goal, but it's easier said than done. So yeah, those are my two options right now, both of which would be close to free. Obviously, if I was gonna build an M50, M52, Frankenstein, whatever it would end up being, or an M54B30, tons of refresh parts would be used, but the main engine is already on hand here at the shop. I have not listed the M54B30 because I'm still debating on what I want to do with it. So let me know down below. It's kind of a long-winded part of the video, but it is part of this build and why I'm still in limbo with what I want to do with the engine swap, because I think once I commit to putting something in the car, the part stack will grow pretty fast. At the moment, I'm just selling everything off because it's hard to turn down, you know, sales instead of just hoarding all the parts. So let me know what you think. Let me know your experience with all of this. That's pretty much it for this video. Just wanted to make it an update. We will get into more of the bay shave in the next few videos. So I know today it was just kind of boring. It was just me cutting, but that's part of the build process. So anyways, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, tuning in, checking out the E30 update. There's plenty of other videos on my channel going over E36 stuff, E92 stuff, that car, the E92 M3 is broken. Surprise, surprise. Video out on that at some point soon. But anyways, with that being said, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing the video. Anything you do does help the channel grow. And with all that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.